The Shia population globally is estimated to be between 400 and 450 million people. The Shia community is found, the largest population centers are in Iran, Pakistan, India, but there are populations all over the world, including Europe, America, Malaysia, Indonesia, and China, and the list goes on.
Shias are the ones who follow the Ahlul Bayt, the message of Prophet Muhammad through Imam Ali salam and the 12 Imams.
And they reside in almost every country in the world. And specifically the topic where we're discussing where they are mostly suffering is in Pakistan today.
Contemporarily, within Pakistan, even though the founder of Pakistan, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, is a Shia Muslim, the current situation in Pakistan is quite tragic. Starting as far back as 1962, the Tehri massacre that occurred, in which a jalus, a Muharram procession, was massacred in the streets of Pakistan. People were killed outright. And at that time, in 1962-63, the government refused to cover this in the press. It was suppressed both from the pulpit and by the media.
There's an ethnic minority in Pakistan called the Hazaras. They originate from Hazarajat in Afghanistan, and they were actually oppressed and tyrannized in their home country, and which they escaped to reside in Pakistan for safety. But even in Pakistan, they find no peace, and they are targeted daily. Hundreds and thousands of them have been killed and targeted by militants and suicide bombings and target killings, specifically for the fact that they hold the title of being a Shia Muslim.
And there hasn't been any positive change to bring the oppression down, so we have decided to go back to Pakistan, visit these orphans, and tell their side of the stories to the people here and abroad.
So unfortunately, the government of Pakistan hasn't been able to catch the known terrorists that are involved in killing Shias on a mass level. We want to bring this issue to a global level and recognize the fact that the government of Pakistan isn't able to catch these terrorists, and they're free to roam around in the streets of Pakistan.
The world hasn't heard what the Shia Muslims, the Hazara, the orphans especially are going through. So we're going to have representatives of the orphans, representatives of the widows, to share the story of all the orphans and widows and victims of the oppression that has been going on in that country.
Our documentary that we're working on is an attempt to follow the life of an orphaned child who has been a tragic victim of the violence committed against the Shia community in Pakistan.
All we see in the media is like, okay, there's been a bomb blast, so okay, they'll go down to that area, you'll see the bomb blast, you'll see innocent people killed, dying, you'll see the hospital, but you don't see the bigger picture. There's so much more that goes on. There's so many families that are affected by this.
This is a story which is unique, and it is something that cannot bear to have its silence from the media anymore. And we may be the filmmakers, we may be going and making it happen and showing it, but the real life and the real story is already there. No one is telling it, and we're going to take that first step to tell it.
We're going to present two orphans in Pakistan that have been affected by Shia genocide. A child who has lost their parents, lost their father, their mother, and we're going to go through their life. We're going to experience and look at what they go through on a daily basis, what the problems they might be facing, and I think that makes this documentary very unique.
Throughout history, there have been many genocides. Throughout history, many populations have been massacred without any help. And now this is your opportunity to stop a genocide that is in motion, that is happening currently day by day. And the choice is yours to see if you are going to speak up for the Holocaust of today.
And it is our job as citizens of the United States or in countries that are economically affluent, who are not in a political situation where our lives are in threat every day, to give a voice to those people who do not have a voice for themselves. And that is what we intend to do. A documentary like this has not been made. A documentary like this needs to be made. And we are going to do our best to make this a reality, and we need your support.
सदा रही है मेरे दिल से पैहम के होगा हर एक दुश्मने जां का सरखम सदा रही है। सरखम सदा रही है, सदा रही है। न जिल्लत के साए में बच्चे पलेंगे, न हाथ अपनी किस्मत के हाथों मलेंगे। न जिल्लत के साए में बच्चे पलेंगे, न हाथ अपनी किस्मत के हाथों मलेंगे। सदा रही है मेरे दिल से पैगाम कि होगा हर एक दुश्मने जां का सरखम सदा रही